starting items are fine. Going against a Nyx off lane with a possible dual lane ogre. So I like that you went to regen. I would say that the magic wand build is pretty much required on every single safe lane hero these days, because magic wand is such a value item. And getting those charges up as fast as possible can really decide the game even. You know, if you die in lane, but you had 17 charges and it saves you, and you don't die, then that sets the course for the entire game. So, as a safe laner, what you want to be doing before the horn sounds is walking up here, making sure that the offlaner doesn't put down a ward and blocks one of these two camps or gets vision wherever. Also scouting them so that they don't do the offlane pull to get a free level 2 is a good idea. Luckily though, this Nyx assassin just doesn't do anything. And you should, I wish this guy would shut up. What you should also be doing is watching the map and seeing what your teammates are scouting to look for the enemy support heroes. Because if it's just a Nyx on that bounty rune, and you have Luna Rubik, then you guys should be getting this bounty rune in. Oh my god, what the fuck? Hold on. Alright. Rubik, Orb of Venom, stealing your CS, auto-attacking the creeps, pretty great. If you went on him, you could have gotten the kill, especially since the lane was pushing. Since the lane is pushing, you want to be able to kill him so he doesn't get this XP under his tower, this free XP without getting zoned out. Like, you definitely should have walked up with your team. Like, even though they made the mistake in the first place of pushing the wave immediately for no reason, you should have just played with your team anyway, especially since it's a tri lane. And I mean, there's a famous quote from No Tail. You may know it. If the game is full retard, you just have to go with it. If you don't go with it, you're just going to lose. And especially since this is a Southeast Asia Legend pub game, I would say that that's absolutely the case. Might as well go full Divide. Oh, I think you said you wanted some tips for camera positioning, so we'll just watch your player perspective for a while. Alright, so yeah, this camera positioning sucks. I'm just going to show you what your camera positioning should look like. This is what your camera should look like, and you should be periodically checking his items and going back to your hero. Look at the creep, look at him. You don't want your hero to be front and center. On Radiant, you want your camera positioning to look like this. You want to see as much as possible on the screen. And you just Fog the Radiant. Yeah, so you want your camera positioning to look like this, like enough for you to back up a little bit, but you want to be able to see the enemy at all times. Especially with the Nyx, you want to be able to watch for his stun animation so you can try to sidestep it. And obviously on Dire, it would be the opposite. Like, you would want your camera to look like this if you were this Juggernaut. You know, something like that. And something else I should mention in this latest patch, the most important thing in the lane, it's not actually the last hits, it's the denies. Because if you deny, then they get 25% of the XP. So getting the denies is, I mean, don't get me wrong, getting the last hit is important, but every single deny you get puts you further and further in a better place than your enemy. And don't forget that it gives you XP as well, so it increases the gap between you and the enemy twofold. I mean, not double, but you know, in multiple different ways. Multiple ways. Going for the Aquila. A good tip for Aquila is to send yourself everything except the Ring of Protection, and get the Ring of Protection from the side shop. Another tip is every time you use Courier, send yourself 2 Clarities. So that way you're always topping off on mana. And especially as a Luna, when you're level 5, closing in on level 6, you want to have your mana to be at least up here, so you can cast Lucent Beam once or twice and cast your ultimate. Yeah, so I think you're taking the right approach right now, shoving in this wave. You should be trying to use this catapult to get as much damage on the tower as you can, because catapult does 50 damage a hit to the tower, and you only do like 20. So what higher level players will do is they'll spend the first 5 minutes denying creeps and keeping the lane back, and having the support zone the offlaner, as well as zoning the offlaner yourself. And then as soon as like minute 4:45 hits, they start shoving in that wave as fast as possible. They want to sync up the creep wave, have as many of these creeps still alive, and then the next creep wave, which is 3 melee, 1 range, plus a catapult. So you get the double wave, you get the catapult, and what ends up happening is with that double wave you can dive the enemy and get a kill, and then if you get that kill and they don't succeed in pulling the creeps off of the tower and they don't rotate heroes, this tower is dead and a possible tier 2. But that requires some coordination, so it's a bit difficult, and I don't like this. You should be getting power treads before the Mask of Madness. But if you're going for the Mask of Madness rush, you should be sending yourself this plus 2 Clarities. and finishing the Mask of Madness in the side shop, especially since you're not taking any harass from the offlaner practically. So, something else you can do to keep your mana up, like right now, you're just no threat. On a carry, like, on any carry really, you need to be able to, if the enemy is diving a tower or ganking under tower somewhere, you need to be able to come in and fuck them up if they overextend. But with your mana being so low, sure you could TP in maybe, but then you can't cast Lucent Beam, you can't cast your ult. And trust me, if you start on Luna or Jug or whatever, just watching, waiting for them to dive and try to get kills close to a tower or a shrine, you TP in, use your ultimate, you'll win more games. Those kinds of rotations in the after post level 6 will win you games if you're making rotations like that as a carry. But see, the reason you want power treads is over going for the naked Mask of Madness rush is it's effectively, and it's the fucking secret shop. Whatever. It's an ultimate orb, right? Plus 10 all attributes. I didn't see that. It's plus 10 all attributes. All you have to do is tread swap it. But it's also 25 attack speed. So, what else is 25 attack speed? Nice dodge. You might live because of that. Oh. You live? Yep. Yeah, you live because of that dodge. Nice dodge. What can I compare it to? Okay. So, it gives you more attack speed than the Glove of Haste alone. 5 more. And it also gives you the stats of an ultimate orb. So, pretty much, we'll say that a power tread is an ultimate orb plus a Glove of Haste. So you're getting like the value of close to 3,000 gold for 950. And that's why people will go treads either as quick as they can, or I mean, that's why people will go either treads and then Aquila, or Aquila and then treads. Another thing is, if they have any nukes at all, like this Impale or Mana Burn on the offlaner, or a hero that might rotate into your lane, you want to have a raindrop, because it just gives you, you know, it gives you half a mana regen. It gives you so much more effective HP. 120. Makes a big difference. Like, if you just start realizing the value of treads and buying raindrops, you'll win more games as well. So in this game, the Mana Burn, that's a pretty sizable nuke. Even in the early game when you don't have that much int, it's a pretty sizable nuke. So having that raindrop can really make you survive. I mean, not that you've died or anything, but maybe having more effective HP allows you to turn a gank instead of just barely walking away. And you probably already know this, but you shouldn't cast your ult unless it's guaranteed that you'll get a kill. Or you have to cast it so that they take so much damage that they have to back off, saving your life. So far your ultimate usages have been pretty subpar. Which is, I'm not flaming you, I'm just trying to give you some advice on using it. Like, in this game, their heroes are kind of difficult to use your ultimate against, because like you really want, you don't want to be initiating with your ult, right? You want Tusk to go in and then you Lucent Beam and you run in and you ult and you hit them, or you want Rubik to lift, or you want Venge to swap into stun. And if Jug has Blade Fury up, or he has Omni Slash up, and he's not getting chain stunned, you're just never going to kill him with your ult. Unless he fucks up like so bad it's unbelievable. You know, he just doesn't press buttons, I mean. I'll go back to your player perspective and fast forward a bit. Talk about your itemization. So, if it was me in this game, playing Luna, I would be going for Hurricane Pike, solely based on the fact, like, so when do you want to go Hurricane Pike on a ranged carry is the question. And the answer is pretty much either if you want to eventually get a Force Staff for some reason, and you're a carry, so you need to build the stats before you actually build the Force Staff. You know, for the tank, the extra agility. Or the second one is if you need to outrange somebody. Or, I mean, the reason they buy it on Enchantress and OD, those int heroes, is because they have unique attack modifiers, so using the active on the Hurricane Pike actually gives them a huge spike in damage in a fight. So it's just overall a really great item, the Hurricane Pike into Force Staff. And plus, in this game it has a special purpose, which would be if you get Monkey King ulted, you can, and he's close enough to the edge, you can Hurricane Pike him, and he'll go out of the Monkey King ult, and the Monkey King ult will be over. So that's why I would be getting a Hurricane Pike in this game, but maybe I would actually not go for the, like, if I was just farming, like this team that you have, it would be alright for them to just go around and fight while you just split push and farm. So what I would go is probably the Mask Madness into the Asha, into the Dragonlance. And then after that, deciding, do I need more split push? Then I get a Manta. Do I need survivability from ganks? Then maybe I get the Hurricane Pike. Do I need a team fight right fucking now? Then I get BKB. Do I just need to keep ricing and nobody can kill me? Butterfly. And etc. And it's really a case-by-case basis what you want to get. But against this Monkey King bullshit, I'd be getting the I would most likely go for the Mask of Madness into Yasha, into Pike, into BKB, and then and only then would I finish the Hurricane Pike. And Jug versus Luna is a good matchup for Luna. If Luna can outfarm the Jug, then Luna will win every time, pretty much, just because she's ranged. She has this Moonglaive. These are actually some ancient builds that I'm seeing. This is an ancient Monkey King build. And your build is pretty ancient as well. Do we have any other ancient builds? Ancient. Okay. Let's just fast forward here. Well, I feel like I've given you enough to think about. It's really not worth going over the entire thing. Except one thing I do want to mention is the Ag's refresher. Let's see, what talents did you actually get with that? The mini stun. Yeah, I mean, I can see why you want the Ag's refresher. Just wait out the Monkey King BKB and just rain hell down upon him. But he's got Silver Edge. He does have a BKB. Rather tanky. And the other hero, Jug, is not only does he have BKB, but he also has magic immunity built into his kit. So the Ags Refresher is really more of a downfall with, and you actually did build the Hurricane Pike. Nice. Um, I'm not sure if you purchased this Rapier or not. You did. Okay. So, yeah, so against these cores, I wouldn't have built the Ags Refresher. I would have just, um, probably have gone for, like, probably, I mean, they didn't get any evasion, so I wouldn't have gotten the MKB, but I would have gotten, Satanic for sure against their team. And it looks like you actually never bought a BKB, and not buying BKB against Disruptor is a huge mistake. You really want to buy BKB against Disruptor every single game. I don't know how many Disruptors you run into, but also against Nyx. I don't know how much you were getting dumpstered in the fights by Nyx, but as any hero who has a bunch of shit that just goes everywhere, Nyx Assassin's quite good against them because he's likely to get caught in the crossfire and just presses E, and that sets up for his Q. So if you don't have the BKB and you run in and use your ult or you start hitting people, you're liable to get fucked up by Nyx, fucked up by Monkey King stun, fucked up by Disruptor ult. Yeah, so hope that helps.